You have to reduce what are called AGEs, okay? And this isn't me trying to tell a joke, even though, pun intended, AGEs or AGEs or whatever you want to call them, they are advanced glycation end products, okay? How are they created? They're created in the body when we consume refined sugar or unhealthy carbs. Those unhealthy carbs or refined sugars then combine with proteins and fats, and they create these advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, okay? These AGEs increase inflammation, they increase oxidative stress, and overall, they just age you. These are the things that are making you have bags under your eyes. These are the things that are causing you to have wrinkles, your skin to be all loose and not tight and elastic, okay? These are the things that are causing you to end up with dis-ease as well, too. Many of chronic diseases are actually very connected to AGE or advanced glycation products, okay? Not only that, they make the blood very clumpy and thick, which increases your risk of cardiovascular disease, strokes, and heart attacks, okay? And the best way to describe the overconsumption of sugar and animal-based products as well too are included in the things that increase AGEs in the body is diabetes. Diabetes is the perfect example of what it looks like internally, except you get an external picture when you have diabetes. When somebody has diabetes, they get this skin condition known as acanthosis, okay? That's when the skin looks all dark, it looks all velvety, it sort of looks discolored, okay? Usually around the folds in the body, or on the neck, the elbow, under the arms, in the groin area, you start to see this acanthosis. So the skin starts to look very velvety, wrinkly, okay? You start to see that person age. You start to see that person's muscle break down. We'll talk about muscle a little bit later, okay? So that initially with diabetes, they gain weight, but then you start to see them waste away, okay? That's these AGEs that I was talking about. That's what happens over time with sugar. You start to see that tissues start to break down. It's not just muscles, okay? So you see people with diabetes start to have kidney disease, and then they end up on dialysis. You start to see that they have issues like amputations, okay, from necrosis. You start to see that people with diabetes are one of the #1 causes of blindness as well too. And so you start to see all of these things happen very quickly with somebody with diabetes. That typically happens over time with somebody as they age. As they age, they start to lose their sight. As they age, they lose their muscle. All of these are things that are very sort of representative of what we think we're supposed to, or what is supposed to happen as we age. But the truth of the matter is that we're just speeding up the process by increasing these AGEs. So the #1 thing you need to do is decrease the amount of sugar and refined carbohydrates like breads and pastas that you're putting in your diet. Okay, so that's #1. Okay, #2, build muscle. Okay, I just talked about this. When you're increasing your AGEs, it's eventually going to cause you to have muscle wasting. Okay, the person may actually gain weight in many cases, but if we were to do a body composition, we would notice that they gain weight, but they gain more fat and lost muscle in the process, okay? So one of the best things that you could do, not only for your overall health, but to reverse your biological age, is to build more muscle, okay? Because muscle in and of itself is a metabolism machine. This is where all the sugar is processed, okay? This is where the sugar is stored, in the muscle, okay? So when you take it, when you have enough muscle to be able to process the sugar, one, and then secondarily to be able to store the sugar, and then you have healthy tissues, okay, this is going to be very conducive for you to help not only look good physically, but also from an internal standpoint to control your metabolism as well too. And so what you want to do is increase your resistance training ratio to cardio. Okay, so I see a lot of people who love to do cardio. Okay, so I would increase the ratio of how much resistance training that you're doing with weights, body weights, etc. to the cardio, because I cannot tell you, and this is not me saying that cardio is bad, but what I'm saying is that I see people all the time who run 10Ks and, marathons, half marathons, who have heart attacks. As a matter of fact, the guy who broke the 4-minute mile, Roger Bannister, died of a heart attack, okay? Was in great shape when he had the heart attack, okay? So it's just really, really important to understand building muscle is not only critical to our overall health because it helps to control our metabolism, but it's also very critical to helping to reverse and keep our age at a lower state as well too. So hugely important. And the other thing that I think is important and many people don't know is that muscle is the organ of longevity, okay? When you're able to see somebody who's in their 80s, like I did when I lived in Okinawa, Japan, see somebody who's in their 80s and their 90s, they're still riding a bike, climbing up hills, climbing into trees to grab fruit, doing farm work, and you can see the muscle tone in their body. This is why Okinawans live to the age that they live to, okay? Building muscle, hugely important. And as I saw in the study, as older adults increase their muscle mass, they saw a decrease in all causes of mortality. And I'll tell you, one of the number one causes of mortality for older women is hip fractures, okay? But if you got strong bones, quite often it's the weak muscles that lead to the fall, okay? And it's also the diet that leads to the weak bones, which we'll talk about in just a second. But it's hugely important to understand as you increase muscle, you decrease your risk for all causes of mortality, meaning every cause of death, the risk goes down as you increase your muscle. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, you have to have a high antioxidant, anti-inflammatory diet, okay? Why is that important? Because most of everybody's diet today is highly inflammatory. And the more inflamed the body is, most conditions, most chronic diseases begin with inflammation. Okay? Most of them begin with inflammation. So if you can have a diet that doesn't cause inflammation, that is actually anti-inflammatory, and then you can add on a high concentration of antioxidants. And oxidation is rust. That's rusting, that's aging. So a diet high in antioxidants that is basically anti-rusting to you, then you stand a chance of aging gracefully, essentially. Okay, so what does a diet like that look like? That diet looks like a whole foods nutrition diet. That means that there's nothing processed about it. Okay, that means that it's only one ingredient. That means, for example, berries, high in antioxidants. That means herbaceous and cruciferous vegetables, okay? An example would be dandelion leaves, or it could be arugula, okay? In terms of like vegetables in that way, okay? So that's hugely important. It also means implementing healthy fats, because healthy fats have omega-3s. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory as well too. And then exotic fruits. You guys have seen on the channel where I bring on soursop, for instance, which has been shown in many clinical trials to be anti-cancerous, okay? The reason why it's anti-cancerous, antibacterial, antiviral is because of its high antioxidant load, okay? So eating fruits that are actually high in antioxidants is very helpful as well too. So that's number 3. Number 4 is adequate and high quality sleep. And don't sleep on this one. All right. Adequate, enough sleep, high quality sleep, meaning that you go into deep sleep. These things are very important. If you're waking up throughout the night, if you're having a problem going to sleep, if you're going to sleep late and then waking up too early, these are going to be problematic because this puts a stress on the body. So it's really important to understand sleep is not only important for your overall health, but it's also important for your overall aging as well too. All right, hugely important. One night of poor sleep makes the brain appear 1 to 2 years older when we look at it on the scan. Okay, just one night of poor sleep. And to define what one night of poor sleep is, sleeping like 4 hours. Okay, that makes your brain on a scan looks 1 to 2 years older.